मैं अहिंसा का पुजारी हूँ। मेरे पास तो एक बड़ा धर्म पड़ा है कि सब आदमी को गुणग्राही बनना चाहिए। वो मेरा धर्म नहीं है, तुलसीदास ने हमको सिखाया। उसने कहा है कि जड़ चेतन गुण लो समय विश्व कीन किरकार। तो ईश्वर ने जड़ और चेतन सब, तब पीछे हमारे क्या करना, तो कहते हैं कि जो सच्चा आदमी है उसके लिए तो यही है कि जैसे हंस वो पानी को छोड़ देता है और उसमें जो चीज भरी है दूध में से मलाई मीठी है उसको दे देता है, इसी तरह से हमारे जो मलाई है, मनुष्य के गुण है, उसको मलाई की उपमा दी है, वो दे देना, बाकी अवगुण है वो छोड़ देना।
Gandhi is eternal. Like Buddha has survived for thousands of years, Gandhiism will survive and be relevant for hundreds and hundreds of years to come. Welcome to episode 5, Conversation with My Ideas. Today is 2nd October, the birth anniversary of the Mahatma, yet another Gandhi Jayanti. I don't know whether I am a Gandhian or not, but somewhere in the subconscious, that ideals of the Mahatma has got embedded. Many years ago, in Middle East, I met with former President and Prime Minister Shimon Peres, who told me, Gandhi doesn't belong to the past, he belongs to the future.
Let's say in the last 200 or 300 years, there were two towering figures. One was Napoleon, and the other was Gandhi. Napoleon fought and fought and fought and shed blood and blood and blood until he became very famous, unforgettable. But when you look today, what is the heritage of Napoleon? Then you look at Gandhi, a man without an army, without a headquarters, without a state, without a party, a single person, equipped with a moral strength. For me, peace begins at the place where the moral judgment begins. It's a moral conclusion.
Gurus of peace is a very timeless kind of a concept, because at every time there are some kind of challenges or difficulties that will emerge in anybody's part of life. Peace and how peace plays a relevant role at every stage is so critical. It sounds very cliche, but I'm saying if you really apply this thought in the simplest act every day, you do find peace within you. Went on to meet the first person in the mountains of Himachal in Dharamshala, His Holiness Dalai Lama.
I'm trying to promote some kind of, usually I call secular ethics, without religious faith, and also they try to make clear that it is very important to have the realization of oneness of humanity. The difference of religion, difference of ideology or nations, races, these are not important, it's secondary.
That was His Holiness. India gave ahimsa to the world, and now it's time to import it back. Garvapasi, as it is more relevant today. From His Holiness, let's move on to a messiah for the apartheid fight, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a champion for truth and reconciliation movement.
I think, like many others, was very heavily influenced by Mahatma Gandhi, and the struggle for India's independence, and to have seen how someone really sort of minute like that physically could be a spiritual dynamite that could explode, subvert a system of injustice. And of course, as you know, we lay a small claim to him in that he seems to have begun that route when he was thrown off a train here in South Africa. One was influenced by that whole struggle there, and to see how people like Martin Luther King Jr. Had used the same principles for the civil rights movement. White on white violence, black on white violence, all violence is evil. There comes a time when people will say, enough is enough. It is much better to die standing upright than to live groveling for the rest of your life.
The apartheid movement is incomplete without the Madiba, the father of the nation, his long walk to freedom, Nelson Mandela.
Well, there is no doubt that Mahatma Gandhi had an enormous influence on the approach of leaders of thought to specific problems throughout the world. And it is a correct strategy depending on the conditions that exist in a particular country. And no doubt, the policy of passive resistance, it may not be called by that name in various parts of the world, but the fact that people realize that peace is the most powerful weapon in trying to resolve a mutual problem is a lesson that is deeply entrenched in the life of society. And Mahatma Gandhi has played a key role in that respect.
In my quest to meet leaders who transform their journey from violence to non-violence, I was led to the land of graveyards, Gaza. We met Arafat at 2 a.m. in his bunker.
What is the meaning of enemy? Why he is enemy? Because there was violence, there was war between both of us. Then, with our decision, from our conscience, from our thinking, from our hearts, we decided to make the peace with our enemies. It is not easy. It was very difficult. But this is a miracle, to make the peace with your enemy.
He had this great love for India. And he said, Indians are my brothers. The handshake and the hug, I can still feel the warmth. I want to know, how is Gandhi relevant for me personally? So I decided to document, go around the world to meet people who came from a violent past and decided that non-violence is a way forward for their community and society. I had to connect with many leaders of the world, Nobel Peace Prize winners. It was a self-funded mission, a tribute to my father. I had access to meeting some great leaders of this country because my father knew them well. And in the smallest way, I came to know about many things about my father and his friends and their belief in the freedom struggle and how they engage themselves without seeking anything is something that stays with me. In 1945, my father was the Student Congress Secretary, and his responsibility was to enroll young students into the freedom movement. So he took the message of Gandhi to the students, and the message read, "Join Student Congress, do constructive work mutely, Gandhiji. Chup-chap, काम करो." And then at the bottom I find the handwritten lines by my father. There's not to reason why, there's to do and die. What kind of a commitment and passion and devotion they had for the freedom movement. The influence of Mahatma has not diminished. I would say it is even more relevant today. Some time back, I was biking very early in the morning in the streets of Chennai, and I came across a 50-plus-year-old gentleman with bare body and bare feet running like a marathon. I saw him for 3 consecutive days, and then I went and met him. He is Vishwanathan Jayaraman, who is living his life in the ideals of Gandhi, and he is chasing Gandhi. Charlie Chaplin's sister, an artist and a sculptor, asked for a sitting of Gandhi, and this bust was created, and it exists in the same measurement and size in Westminster. Technology allows, in modern day, to 3D print him. As a tribute to the Indigo movement in Champaran, Subodh Ketkar did this 3D printed sculpture, and he felt that it rightly belonged to me. I think every child will find their Gandhi when they start trying to find peaceful solutions to what they are encountered with. As Shimon Peres said, Gandhi belongs to the future. So his ideals, his thoughts, he is a great avatar of Buddha. It's not about that you read and keep him in a textbook or in a photograph that you see and distance yourself. More important is about how you lead a life and take his learnings, and you will see that it will impact and bring about some simplicity, honesty, and peace to you. Help us build and let's share the stories of India with one and all and get inspired by some of the great stories that come from this every corner of this country. हमारा challenge है कि we make good films out of it and bring you good stories, good emotions, and that will make you feel good when you watch it and it makes your day. So subscribe, share and community बढ़ाएंगे.